The Three Missing Women in Springfield 3. Hello everyone. Welcome to the Crime Lab, the place where you find the truth about crime stories. In this video, we will talk about 3 women that went missing in Springfield, Missouri. On June 7, 1992, 19-year-old Suzanne Streeter, 47-year-old Cheryl Levitt, and 18-year-old Stacy McCall went missing from a residence in central Springfield. Do you want to know what happened after? Stick till the end of the video. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more updates. A little background of the victims. 2 of the missing women were actually mother-daughter. Cheryl Levitt lived with her daughter Suzanne Susie Streeter. Susie's friend Stacy McCall used to visit her friend almost daily. Suzanne Streeter and Stacy McCall had graduated from high school. They had been at a college graduation party when they were last seen. What happened on June 7, 1992? 3 women vanished in the early hours of Sunday, June 7, 1992, in what became known as the Springfield 3. The 3 teenagers were Stacy McCall, Susie Streeter, and Susie's mother, Cheryl Levitt. The parents of one of the missing women, Stacy McCall, informed the police department about their daughter's abduction from the residence of the other 2 missing women, Cheryl Levitt and Suzanne Streeter. The house had no traces of a struggle when cops arrived, but rather the appearance of the missing women being abducted. All personal belongings, including purses, money, clothing, automobiles, keys, smokes, and the family dog, were left behind. Stacy McCall and Suzanne Streeter had graduated from high school the day before their disappearance. They were last seen leaving a graduation celebration in a neighboring village at approximately 2:15 a.m. On June 7, 1992, en route to the Levitt/Streeter home at 1717 E. Delmar in Springfield. Because their clothing, jewelry, purses, and vehicles were still at this place, it looked like they had arrived at the apartment. Suzanne Levitt's mother, Cheryl Levitt, was last heard from at 11:15 p.m. on June 6, 1992, when she was discussing painting a chest of drawers with a friend. When friends and police arrived to examine the house, Levitt's car, handbag, keys, and other belongings were still there, and it seemed that her bed had been slept in. Speculations and reporting to the authorities, friends assumed the women had gone for a walk at first. When the 3 women failed to return home later that day, a friend contacted Stacy's mother, Janice McCall. Janice had no idea Stacy had spent the night at Susie's house, assuming she would remain in Battlefield. Stacy had called her mother the night before, around 10:30 p.m. on June 6, to advise Janice that she would be staying in Battlefield. Stacy's mother went to Cheryl's house after receiving a call from one of the girls' friends who had gone to the house and later called the police to report the 3 missing women. Police arrival and investigation. Investigators found no evidence of foul play or a scuffle inside the house when they arrived. In reality, the women's personal items, such as keys, makeup, purses, and clothing, remained inside the house. Cinnamon, the family's Yorkie, was nervously running about inside the house, and officers saw that the blinds inside the house were ajar, as if someone had been peeking through gazing outside throughout the night. Cheryl appeared to have been in bed, with her glasses and book on the nightstand and smokes and her lighter remaining in the house. Aside from the shattered globe on the porch, which was removed before it was recognized, it could have been a vital piece of evidence. No other evidence of foul play was discovered at the residence. There was nothing in the area after several searches. The 3 women appeared to have vanished completely. Following up on leads and nationwide TV coverage, following the women's disappearances, authorities investigated leads and interrogated everyone who had been at the party the night before, including relatives, friends, and even boyfriends. One witness saw a green Dodge van in the neighborhood, but police could not identify the vehicle or its owner. Several callers suggested the women might be buried before a concrete pour at a local hospital parking structure. Susie Streeter's older brother, Bart Streeter, has remained a suspect. Unsolved mysteries. 48 Hours. And America's Most Wanted were among the major television series that featured the subject, AMW. On New Year's Eve in 1993, a male tipper contacted AMW but was terminated when the operator sought to connect the call to Springfield Police Department. Investigators believe the person had first-hand knowledge of the circumstances behind the disappearance of the three women. Possible and potentials leads. After searching the whole area, the police then questioned the neighbors. Many were questioned, but nothing seemed to point towards the disappearance until the police came across ex-felon Robert Craig Cox. Robert Craig Cox was a person of interest in the case from the start. Cox was on death row in Florida for the murder of Sharon Zellers, a 19-year-old woman. The Florida Supreme Court eventually reversed the conviction due to a lack of evidence linking him to the crime scene. Cox was arrested for the second time in California for a kidnapping that occurred in 1985. After doing time in connection with the abduction, Cox returned to his hometown of Springfield, Missouri. Cox was working on the underground cable near Cheryl's home when the three women's disappearances, Janice McCall told news reporters. Cox has been jailed for aggravated robbery and kidnapping a woman in Texas, but later it was found that he knew the woman was killed and where she was buried. He remains in jail until 2025, but he was not found guilty of the disappearances of the three women. Springfield Sergeant Mark Webb. Former Springfield Sergeant Mark Webb allegedly offered information to Kat Hebard, an Ozark Sentinel crime reporter. That led to the discovery of what some believe is the key to solving the case. Law enforcement received a tip in 2002 that led them to the unidentifiable green van seen near Levitt's house the night the women vanished. Two guys who were working at a local concrete company at the time the women disappeared, according to the caller, drove a green van. According to the caller, the two guys buried the women's remains on a farm in Webster County. Items were discovered at the site, and the search warrant results were sealed after a 2-week search of the premises. Kat Hebard became personally involved with the matter and launched her inquiry, which led her to a parking garage under construction at Cox South Hospital in 1992. Susie and Cheryl live barely 5 minutes from the hospital. Mark Webb, now the chief of the Boulevard Police Department, acknowledged that during his stint as a lead investigator at Springfield Police, indications directing them to the hospital parking garage were received early on but were not considered credible. When asked if an independent team would be allowed access to the location to take a core sample, the hospital's public relations department sent an email stating that this was a matter for the Springfield Police Department but would cooperate with the inquiry. Even if the parking garage is not the final resting site of the three missing women, one has to wonder how the cost of coring an area of concrete is more important than providing an answer to a family who has been waiting over 25 years for any information to end a nightmare few can imagine. A mother still waits for her child. Janice McCall, Stacy's mother, has never given up hope of finding her daughter alive. Like other parents searching for their missing child, giving up hope is not an option. Janice started One Missing Link, a charity organization that assists other families in their quest for missing loved ones after her daughter went missing. Janice McCall still awaits the return of her lost daughter Stacy. The last thing I said to Stacy was that I love her. Thank heavens! Janice recalled the last time she saw her daughter. Stacy claimed she loved them and promised to call later. Janice added. They took pictures after the graduation and asked Stacy if she wanted to eat her graduation cake. But she resisted, saying, "Don't cut it till tomorrow." Where are they? The women are still nowhere to be found, and it has been 28 years. An extensive investigation into the lives of the missing women has been conducted with the Federal Bureau of Investigations, Missouri State Highway Patrol, and numerous other law enforcement agencies, with no positive leads concerning the reason for their disappearance or their location. The location and prosecution of the people responsible for the abduction of the three women have been given a $42,000 reward. Physical description of the women. Cheryl Levitt, January 1st, 44. 5. Brown eyes. Short bleached blonde hair. Naturally wavy hair. Longer on top and shorter in the back. 110 pounds. Cheryl Levitt is frail-looking, with freckles on her neck and upper breast. Stacy McCall, blue eyes. Dark blonde hair to the middle of her back with sunlightened ends. White female. DOB April 23, 74. 5 feet 3 inches. 120 pounds. Her face is freckled, and she has a dimple in the center of her chin. Suzanne, Susie, Streeter, brown eyes. Straight bleached blonde. Shoulder-length hair. Huge teeth with little dental work. White female. DOB March 9, 73. 5 feet 2 inches. 102 pounds. She has a 3.5-inch scar on the top of her right forearm and a little tumor in the left corner of her lips, giving the impression that she has something in her mouth. What do you think might have happened to the 3 women? Share your thoughts down in the comments section. We would love to hear your opinions on the case. That's all for today. See you in the next crime investigation episode.